Hi, and welcome to the demonstration of Provus by Promet Source. Adding content is simple, but before I dive into that, you need to understand how the new Drupal works with content in general. You have the typical Drupal content based on content types and fields, but in Provus, you also have pages. Pages are exactly what they sound like, customizable landing pages that you can create and edit really easily. I'm going to click Add a Page, and it gives me a blank canvas to work from. Over here on the left, we have the library of components that we can add, as well as once we start editing our page, this layer section will fill out so that we can edit it in multiple ways. So I'm going to come down here to the Provus components section, grab the hero banner, and literally click and drag. Before I move on from this, I'm going to come down here and I'm going to add a 2-column layout. So sliding down to Provus layouts, I can add a 2-column layout below that by again clicking and dragging. And now I have regions that I can place things in. And since I'm here, I'm going to grab another component, grab an image component, a heading title component, and under that heading title component, I'm going to add a paragraph component. So I can add some text underneath that. And you can see here on the left all of the different components that Provus provides. Well, let's go ahead and get these updated. So I'm just going to slide that out of the way and center this so I can see the entire screen. This little button here will prove to be quite helpful as we go. Next, just click on the element you want to update. So I'm going to just say, welcome to our test page. And you'll see that that's updated in real time. I'm going to add an image here. Our media manager is something that's really fantastic. I'll talk more about that in just a moment. Let me grab this services image. And instantly my banner is updated so I can see in real time what it's going to look like. Now, every component in Provus is highly customizable. All right, let's head down and we'll click on this image component that I added. We'll add some media here. And once again, I can search through all the media that's been uploaded to my site, or I can literally add it on the fly. I'm going to grab this picture of the firefighter, click Insert Selected. And out of the box, it's going to be a 4x3 standard, but I can change that to 16x9 or 1x1 square. Clicking on the heading title then, I'm just going to say, welcome to our page. You can see again, that's updated in real time. Clicking on the paragraph text then, I'm just going to paste in some lorem ipsum text to get us started. You can change this to heading 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6. Of course, you have complete control over how the text is displayed here in the WYSIWYG editor. And there's a couple of more controls. If you click on the 3 dots, one of the great things about Provus is it's going to restrict your content editors to the style guide that you've created for your site. They can't change the text color, for instance, to something that is not within the brand. I'm going to click on the library. I'm going to come down here and add a 3-column layout just below my 2-column layout. You can see instantly I've got 3 block regions that I can now add things in, like cards. Cards are incredibly powerful in Provus. You can see each kind of card layout. I'm going to grab a card default and drag it into that region. The cool thing here is I can actually duplicate as well. So let me click on the card. And now again, you see all the settings on the right-hand side. I can add a media item. I can add call to action buttons, as you can see here, update the text and update the URL. Now, one of the great things is that I don't have to know where I want to go. I can just type a letter and it will bring up a listing of the pages and content on my site that I can literally just click on. And now that becomes the link. Such a time saver. I can change the style from primary to secondary. Now at any point here, I can preview or I can save. So if I click preview at this point, I'm going to see the page as it will be rendered. Exit preview. Now while I'm here, let me talk about mobile and responsive design. Provus is 100% responsive. So if I'm here on the desktop version, I can click on the tablet version. And it's going to show me what this is going to look like on a tablet. I can also change it to the phone version or the mobile version. And now it's going to show me what it's going to look like on mobile. And you can see how those cards really nicely wrap. One thing to note, because I'm logged in, if the menu is going to cloud that over, when a site visitor is viewing this, of course, that's going to look just fine. You probably noticed that this little button up here to fit into the scale is quite handy. And I have complete control over how I'm viewing my content in a responsive design. I typically work in the desktop mode. It just makes life a little bit easier. But then, of course, always check the mobile version as well. One of the things you'll want to check out in our Provus demo is all of the different options you have for adding content to a page. Let me just add one more. I'm going to add a one-column container beneath this. I'm going to come back up and then drag the most recent news. I'm going to just click and drag that into the container, and it's going to then grab the most recent news from my website and put it in this page. Let's go ahead and update the title. So click on Page Data, My New Page. I'm going to click Review, select, and Publish. That page is now published on my site, and I can go and take a look at it outside of this by clicking here to exit the Drupal canvas. Click on My New Page, and here it is rendered for me. And that looks terrific. Now, of course, all of the styling that you're seeing on this demo site can be changed for whatever styling you need. This is literally just a demo site. Well, editing content is just as simple. I'm going to come up here and click Edit. It brings me straight back into the Provus layout, where I can now click and repeat the steps I just made before. Now, something, of course, that is important to any content editor is the ability to track the changes that you've made. Once I'm back out here in the view mode, I can click on the little three dots up here at the top right and click on the revisions tab. And then you'll see my very first version and the revision I just made. So if I wanted to unpublish this page, it's simply go into Edit It, come down to the bottom right here under Current State and change Published to Unpublished. If I change it to Draft, that means that this previously published page will continue to show up for my site visitors, but that I can make changes and then when I'm ready, republish the page. So there's two options here. Again, unpublished is gone, or draft mode means that you're going to make changes that aren't visible just yet until you republish the node. Now, of course, you can delete content as well. Literally just head back over to the Pages menu and click Delete. I will mention that when you delete a piece of content in Drupal and Provus, it cannot be undeleted, i.e. you can't get it back. One of the greatest concerns in web design right now is, of course, accessibility. We need our sites to be compliant. And so here on this particular demo site, we've installed a module that allows you to check your accessibility settings across an individual page. So as I turn that on, I'm seeing all of the heading tags listed for me. And anywhere there's a question mark, it wants to make sure that I've done it right. In this case, all of my buttons say Learn, which is not very accessible at all. And so I would want to update that after it's been flagged. So let's just say that this link obviously needs to be updated. I can't update it from the accessibility checker, of course, but it would be simple to go in, click Edit, and of course, as you know already, you can literally update any part of a page. I'm going to go ahead and publish that, and just that simply, we've updated that button, and I can confirm that this is now okay. And of course, throughout the editorial process, this module will check for accessibility settings throughout the process, from content creation to every edit, and then even on final publication of a piece of content, it's always going to be there to let you know of accessibility issues. Now, a moment ago, I talked about workflows. So let's go and take a look at what that looks like on a piece of content. I'm going to head over to my news item that I created earlier this morning called My New News. This is a news content type with specific fields that allow you to fill in the options like the title, the image, and the text. We have a publication date. And as you can see here, over here on the right-hand side, we have complete version control and we have workflows. This is currently in draft mode and it's never been published on my site. If I change this to published and click save, the piece of content will be published. Workflows are incredibly powerful. You can set up a workflow to have a needs review step. So draft, needs review, and published. If a node is in needs review, an editor can be notified that they have something to look at and they can go in, approve it, publish it, and that can be controlled by permissions. That takes about 5 minutes to set up. So we've got our news, it's been updated, and now it's available on our site. And just to show how that works, here on my page that I created just a few moments ago and inserted the news block, this is instantly updated with my new news, which we just published. Media management is one place where it really shines. I'm going to click on media here. It can handle images, documents, remote video like YouTube and Vimeo videos. And let me just show you with this image here. I'm going to click on home test.png and it's going to give me a thumbnail, the alt text. And if you do enable AI on your Drupal website, which is a whole nother topic and hugely popular, you can even generate the alt text with AI. Otherwise, you can just update it here and it will apply across the site. If I click preview, here are the different versions of this image that are created every time you upload a new image. That focal point, that little cross, determines what will be in focus for each of these versions of your image. You'll note she's always perfectly centered. If I wanted to embed, say, a YouTube video on a page, well, it's simple. Click Add Media, choose Remote Video, and just paste in the YouTube or Vimeo URL. When you paste the URL, it'll go and get the thumbnail, and it'll provide the name. Click Save, and now that video is available to be used anywhere across your site. Documents like PDFs, Word documents, remote video like YouTube and Vimeo, and of course, images are all available in the Media Manager on your Provus website. One of the great strengths of Provus, of course, is user management. The way we approach this is a set of roles. Roles have permissions. So a content editor, a content approver, an administrator, these would all be listed here. And then you set up the permissions based on the role. And then, of course, you add people and assign them to a role. They can have multiple roles or just one role. And as I said, each role can have its own permissions to be customized any way you want. So for a content editor, for instance, most if not all of these menu items will disappear. And they might get the create, the pages, and the CMS menu items, and that's it. With Provus, API integration is built in. What you're seeing is a JSON output of all of the recent content in our site. Each piece of content you author in Drupal is automatically available as a standards-based API. No custom development necessary. That means the same content can feed your website, your mobile app, or your kiosk, or any other system you haven't brought to it yet. You author once, and it can go everywhere. Even this display took me less than 30 seconds to set up. Finally, let me talk about where your code is stored and how you manage it. Depending on where you host your Drupal website, it will typically come with a development, staging, and production environment, and your code will be stored at GitHub. That's the standard Drupal hosting arrangement, certainly the one we use. And so your code belongs to you. And as you develop, it moves through different stages, making sure that you are approving at each stage before the code is pushed to production. Provus really is your one-stop shop in building amazing websites in Drupal.